Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anita Liu, and I am the Public Relations Specialist of CGCC Chicago. Today, our webinar will discuss themes of beauty and power. We will connect you with two successful Asian female leaders and associate members from CGCC Chicago. Before we start, let's welcome our Executive Director, Jie Li, to introduce our organization. Please.
Thank you, Anita. Dear honored guests and audience, good afternoon. I'm Jie Li, the Executive Director of CGCC Chicago. I'm delighted to join today's webinar and listen to the success stories of our female leaders, Jessica and Li Juan. I also would like to welcome all of you and give special thanks to everyone here, and especially for the two female leaders, their company serving as our guest speakers. First of all, I would like to briefly introduce CGCC Chicago in case some of you haven't heard about us. Our full name is China General Chamber of Commerce, USA, Chicago. We are a member-based nonprofit organization. We are independent, nonpartisan, non-governmental chamber of commerce. We have been recognized as the largest and the most influential organization representing Chinese enterprises in the Midwest.
Okay.
And in around
Keep
the
going,
next
sorry.
slide, yeah. So in achieving our mission, we aim to create value, generate economic growth, and enhance cooperation between the U.S. and Chinese business community. CGCC Chicago offers a broad range of programs, services, and resources to our multinational members. 49 of them are Fortune 500 companies. As of June 2020, CGCC's Chinese member companies have invested over $124 billion, employed more than 220,000 people, and indirectly supported over 1 million jobs throughout the United States. We publish CGCC annual business survey report and other business report from 9 Midwestern states. Our China-US business community ecosystem has significantly benefited many of our members, such as Daily News, China-US Investment and Cooperation Database, Insights, and third-party services. And also here are some pictures of us hosting annual galas, business forums, workshops, information meetings, B2B matchmaking, and award ceremonies. On this slide, we can see one of our missions is to achieving excellent corporation social responsibility. Meanwhile, supporting our communities and contributing to society. CGCC Chicago and our members have donated PPE with a total value of $1,396,100 to various hospitals, organizations, and senior centers in 13 states during the COVID pandemic. Last but not least, our member companies also invited Chicago high school students to explore the future job facilities for the younger generation. I'm going to give the brief introduction about our signature programs. We are the exclusive U.S. agent of CIIE, the China International Import Expo, which is a trade fair held in Shanghai, China annually in November to assist U.S. companies in selling their products to China. We offer package services, including pre-event services, logistics, local business touring, and B2B matchmaking events. Another signature program held by CGCC Chicago is the China Roadshow. We are the partner of WBC, the World Business Chicago, and we work in collaboration inviting the US delegation to China to seek business opportunities. In 2019, we visited the 5 biggest Chinese cities together with our American members. This is a partial list of our board members. Our chairman company of the year 2021 and 2022 is Wan Xiang America Group. And we are honored to have Mr. Ping Ni as our president. We are devoted to strengthening our mutual connection in the spirit of partnership. Please connect with CGCC Chicago if you haven't done so, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jelly, for your introduction. Now let's meet these two amazing leaders and learn a little bit more about them. Miss Jessica Jie Xie, she's a vice president from Highland Group. And we also have Miss Li Juan Zhao, who's the founder and president of China Iowa Group. We are going to start with a brief bio with each of them. While they introduce themselves, we are going to roll some pictures from their lives so you can see them. So, okay, Li Juan, you can go first.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you to everyone here to putting this wonderful panel together. Thanks to your hard work that we're able to come together today to talk about a very important subject and hopefully empower and lift women up all over the workplace in different, in different countries, hopefully. First of all, a little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Nanning, Guangxi province. I spent 25 years there. I got my master's degree in international trade and economics from Central South University. And before I left China, I was very fortunate to be able to work in various different industry in China, from trade to education to other areas. And then after I graduated, I went on to study in Holland, and I spent a year there. That's where I got hired by one of the largest agricultural bank, the Rabobank, their subsidiary in Holland. And then the company moved me to the UK. I spent a year there, experienced a different culture than the Dutch culture. And eventually the company transferred me to a local division here in Iowa in the United States. So that's how I ended up in Iowa. I like to tell my story back when my manager was asking me, well, would you like to be relocated to the United States? I said, sure, I just have 2 suitcases, please move me. And until he handed me the piece of paper, it says, Des Moines. I was like, oh, where's that? And he showed me a map and said, hey, look, this is Chicago. This is Des Moines. They're pretty close. And it was not until I was here, I realized it was not close. It was 6 hours away. I thought I could, go to Chicago during the weekend, but it wasn't the case. Anyway, that's how I ended up in Iowa and started a career, started China Iowa Group with my partner, which is turned out to be one of the best decisions. And now I'm very proud to call myself an Iowan.
Interesting experience. So, Jessica, would you like to share a little bit about your experience with us?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't prepare as many fun pictures as Li Juan did. I just have the boring stuff, boring business stuff. But anyway, so my name's Jessica Xie, and I was born and raised in Beijing, China. Didn't leave Beijing until 1998. So that's when I came to the US to pursue my MBA degree. And I landed in the state of Louisiana and went through a big cultural shock when I first arrived there. But 2 years went by very quickly, and then I graduated with an MBA degree. And I started working for an insurance company in Atlanta, and then just to launch my insurance career. And then I've moved around I moved every 2 years in my first 8 years in the US, but finally I settled down. I lived in Atlanta and also in Chicago. And then I moved to Toledo, Ohio, and also started working with my current employer called Highland Group. So it's been a good journey to me in the US, and I feel that I've grown substantially, both in my personal life and also in my career. So I really enjoy my journey in the US.
Thank you for two of you sharing your experience. I have to say, Li Zhen, you have the cutest baby pictures. And it was so nice to see Jessica in your workplace. Okay, I realize there are some really parallel elements in your life, and it's a part of what makes you so special now. So I want to start asking both of you, over the past decades, women in the United States have made more significant progresses. So you are obviously a good example of that. You have your passion and dream. So where are those energy come from, and what inspired you to pursue this industry? So Li Zhen, would you still?
Sure. I have always been very interested in cross-cultural communication and business environment. And as you might recall, I study international trade. So I had the opportunity to be interacting with clients all over the world to help them, purchase products from China. I noticed early on that because of the cultural differences, it's not always a smooth journey. Either the clients from overseas get really upset with the factories in China, and it's vice versa. They can't seem to figure out what went wrong. The Chinese factory think they did everything per the request. Maybe they sometimes, like just ignore a detail or, one item or two. The foreign clients was very upset because like, okay, you told me that this was going to be ready in 2 weeks, but now it's already 2 weeks and 1 day. Why? So there's all kinds of cultural differences that I experienced firsthand. And it was then that I made up my mind that, I'm very fortunate that I'm able to be communicated effectively in both language environment. And I'm culturally sensitive, and I should really use my gift to serve more people, to bring more understanding across the border, across the culture. It is, then that I firmly started to believe, right? The more we talk to each other, the more successful business we can do with each other, the world will be a better place. So it was with that experience and with that passion that after I moved to United States, I launched China Iowa Group to facilitate business and trade between U.S. company and Chinese company. And so far, we have helped numerous clients make their business interaction with Chinese company easier, simpler, and we have helped them to be more effective.
So how about you, Jessica?
I also, like Li Zhen, I was when I was in college in China, I majored in international business. So I'm always very interested in doing businesses with foreign companies, and also interested in foreign cultures, just to explore the world. And that's what brought me overseas. And then when I was in graduate school, I studied under a professor who also taught insurance classes, and she brought me under her wings and introduced me to the insurance world, and also took me to Lloyd's of London, which is the capital of insurance, or the origin of insurance in the world. It's an amazing market for the insurance industry. So, and those experiences inspired me to enter into the insurance industry, which is very new to Chinese, but to China and Chinese people, but it's a very matured industry and huge industry in the US. So I'm very fortunate. I feel very fortunate that I did enter into this industry, and I've been in it since 2000. And I've always, in addition to insurance, I also wanted to capitalize my skills in language skills in both English and Mandarin Chinese, and also to the familiarity with both cultures. So knowing or having the insurance knowledge and having the passion to help connect the two cultures and businesses made me start the idea of pursuing or helping US companies with Chinese parents. So I started this effort back in 2010, just on an experimental basis. And now in 2016, I officially started a team to work with Chinese investments in the US. And now we have a team of 11 or soon to be 13 people. And we work with more than 100 Chinese companies or US companies with Chinese parents. So it's been a booming practice for me, and I really feel that it fits my skill set, and it gives me a great satisfaction when I solve problems for my clients. So I understand that the discrimination against women is always there or has been there, and we're striving to change it. But I think as an individual, a female in a male-dominant industry, I thought what I can do is to do what I can control. So which is do my job and learn the skills and do a good job to service clients. So that's what I've been doing.
Thank you. Both of you mentioned you are very fortunate, but I bet you are not only fortunate, you must really work hard to achieve this stage. So nowadays, many of us are experiencing difficult times. So I want to ask, have you ever worried about this pandemic? And what were some of the negative impacts on your business? Or is some advantages for you? So was there some problems you've ever encountered during this pandemic?
Sure. So a little bit about what we do. We have importing business. We import products from China and distribute it to United States. We also have export side of the business where we take US products and services and bring them to China. And the last part is we provide business development as well as other financial investment consulting services to our US clients when it comes to China. When the pandemic first happened in China, in Wuhan, the whole country went into lockdown. Right after the initial couple of days of shock, we feel so bad for the people there that has to suffer. And then the domino impact quickly started to show itself, to reveal itself, right? So first of all, the port was shut down. All the trucking company was not, they cannot be in action. We have several orders that are still with the Chinese factory that they have to stop due to the Chinese New Year. And then now they have to stop further along due to the lockdown of COVID. We were very concerned and very nervous about not able to deliver our products to our US customers. Luckily, a lot of them are very understanding. People understand it's a pandemic and there are disruption in the supply chain. So 2 months later, China has made a remarkable progress that we were actually able to get the goods and services in time. And meanwhile, we also engage in some of the PPE, getting some of the PPE here and donate it to people who are needed, but that's a separate story. Fast forward a couple months later, we see the same thing. That's when we started to see, okay, we're going to have a pandemic here in the United States too, and overnight, we experienced the same supply chain disruption like our coworkers experienced in China. Our products were stuck in the port, and we weren't able to get an exact day, how things is going to be moving again. And also a lot of our clients in China simply cancel the order because they don't know when the demand will be back up, and the supply chain disruption impact. So it was very, the first, I would say 6 months of the pandemic hit us really hard, and especially we're a small size company. We see our volume, our trade volume drop significantly. But like any other company during a time of turmoil, we really need to adapt and pivot, through the difficulty. Later on our importing side of the business, we have determined that there's greater needs in the community for PPE products. And it's not enough if we just simply rely on, bringing donated PPE. We need the market to put to work. So we use our team, resources, our understanding about how to do effective quality control. And we were able to bring a large amount of PPE and supply to the community that we care the most. So that was a very good strategic move from our side, that we were able to pivot through the pandemic. And then at the end of the year, our importing business, remained about the same as before. So we were very fortunate. I would say, if you look at it now, our life is almost back to normal. If we ignore all the tragic, the life lost, and the difficulty that the pandemic has thrown upon on us, one of the silver lining that it has taught us and a lot of the company is that it actually helped us to accelerate the adoption of the technology. So right now we see a lot of streamlining even in our operation, and I noticed that with our clients too, and they respond much faster, and they become a actually stronger and more efficient company as a result. So there's always silver lining in any tragic situation.
Yeah, you must did a remarkable job during the pandemic as well. So how about you, Jessica?
Well, we are a service provider. So we provide mostly commercial insurance services to our to companies like Li Juan's company, or majority of my clients are in the manufacturing industry. So I did see the ups and downs in their orders and the production during the pandemic, and the supply chain interruption, the impact of the supply chain interruption to their business, and the shortage of labor. So it's been a challenging year and a half to a lot of our clients, to say the least. And to us, all we have been doing is to do our very best to support these clients. If they need to make adjustments in the insurance program, or if they sometimes even we go out of our ways to search in our network for some candidates for our clients to see if we can help them find the talents they needed. So our business, fortunately, last year and this year have been growing. Probably, I'm thinking that it's because we sincerely worked hard, very hard, to help our clients, and they do realize that, and they trust us, and they wanted to grow. They want to grow with us. So as Li Juan said, I always try to be optimistic and to look at the bright side of things. So if there are any good things out of the pandemic, I'd say to us is the fact that we proved to our employer, my firm, that we can do as good of a job, if not better, just to do the work remotely. So a lot of women like me have children, younger children. So being able to work from home has helped me to stay better in touch with the family. But it also means that it's hard to draw the line between work and family. So I many days I would just realize that, oh my gosh, I've been sitting in front of the computer all day for I don't know how many hours. But there are challenges, but still, I think we welcome the flexibility that employers now are willing to provide to employees, especially for women. I think that's definitely helpful in advancing our careers without making too many sacrifices to take care of the families.
Yeah, thank you. That's what we learned from this pandemic. Like we should really well prepare ourselves. So when the challenge hits, we can be really resilient. So so next question, what does being a female leader benefit your company? It's a question for both of you. So who wants to go first?
Yeah. All right, I'll jump on it. There are, I mean, you know, if I look at my career past, when I first entered the workspace, I felt like the sky is the limit. I don't feel like there's a gender inequality. I don't feel like there's anything I couldn't do. And then it was after about 5 or 10 years, I realized, okay, there is something, you know, that is invisible. There's an old boys club, you know, sometimes it's so much harder for me to get clients just because I'm a female. And then when, you know, someone else who is a male company leader, and then they partner with us, they can get a much better contract from the client, and then they subcontract it to us. And, you know, I'm still the one who's doing the work, but just because I am a female, that I'm actually have to spend a lot more time trying to get the same client. And sometimes I can't even get the same client. And if I'm doing the same job, I have to do it through a subcontracting. So there's definitely that. And after 5 or 10 years, I realized, you know, we have to face it. And then fast forward, I enter into another stage where I realized, yes, you know, we can't eliminate everything. The only thing that I can, I have control is to utilize my strength and avoid my weakness. You know, my strength is, okay, you know, I'm a female entrepreneur, female leader. We're very compassionate. We're a big picture person. We you know, really get along with a lot of people. We're team players. I try to demonstrate that to all my clients, that, you know, even though I'm female, that we do the project just the same, if not better, than our male counterparts. And, you know, after you really put in the effort, the receiving end will see that, and then eventually they will, you know, the gender is not an issue anymore, right? They get to know you, they like you as a person, they trust you, they know that you can deliver it, and the gender really doesn't matter at that point. So and the next step that I'm able to do with my business is that we're actually very fortunate. You know, the SBA and a lot of the U.S. government actually, and big company included, actually have a diversity supplier program. And the fact that we're a certified minority women-owned business sometimes actually opens doors for us. And so I'm very glad to report, you know, I went through this phase where, you know, we don't, you know, I don't know there's any difference. I feel like sky's the limit, to more of a pessimistic view, like, oh, you know, like I get less because I'm a woman, till now, you know, how do I best perform for my clients? How do I best deliver value for them? And also utilizing the resources that are out there, you know, to our benefits. And I have to say, really benefit our business quite a bit. And I enjoy being a female leader, and I enjoy working with my clients, whether right, they're female or male.
Thank you. So Jessica?
Terry. Yeah. When I was growing up, I'd say my mom has set a great role model for me. She grew up in the poor countryside, but she fought her way through school to, you know, even though her mom didn't think a woman should be educated, she excelled at schools, and from the very beginning, and to the point that her school teachers would not let her go home, would help convince her mom that she needs to go to school. So she finished 12 years of course, elementary, middle school, and high school in 10 years. And then she also entered one of the top universities in China. And she went on to work at a prestigious research institute in Beijing, China. So it's many dreams come true for a countryside poor girl from a farmer's family, a peasant's family. So, and she has been telling me ever since I was very little that as a girl, don't limit yourself just because you're a woman or a girl, and dream big, think big, and just be independent, be tenacious about getting things done. Utilize the resources around you, and be nice to be kind to people, and help other women. So I've grown up holding those principles in my head, and I'm very fortunate to accomplish what I have, either at school or at work. And now I do lead the China practice for Highland Group, which is a large insurance agency, American owned, and I'm probably one of the few females, let alone a Chinese female, in this kind of position, again, in a male dominant world. So I agree with Li Juan that to get to this point, it's really you have to be tenacious or be persevere in accomplishing what you want, to have a clear goal, and also to work twice as hard, or maybe 3 times as hard as others, to get to where we are. And so when I get to this point in my career, and I work with a lot of women, because in the insurance industry, the funny thing is the producers tend to be, the higher income generators tend to be males, and who mostly belong to the good old boy clubs, but the service support team tend to be females. So I try to also set a good role model for other women in my company or around me, to say, hey, it's possible. It's possible that you can accomplish this. Don't shortchange yourself, and just work hard, set your goal, and also align or get yourself mentors. And those I've had a couple of great mentors, men or women, who have encouraged me when I felt down, or who have just also always been there to share ideas with me. So those are very important. It's very important in my mind to align yourself with other the mentors or good peers who can help you continue to grow. So yeah, and I want to make myself available to help other women, especially younger women, to help them grow along as well.
Your mom's a good example, and she set up a perfect role model for you. And she's tough, diligent, and smart. So you've talked about this dichotomy in China. Some families, they don't even want a girl child. So I'm looking at advising young women. So do you think they have equal opportunity today? And how would you coach them on moving ahead in their life?
So you must refer to the story that I told sometimes about my birth. My father was the only son in the family. He has 2 sisters, and my grandma, being a very traditional lady, she really, really wanted the family name to not stop with me. So when my mom was pregnant with me, my grandma was always very excited. But it was around the same time China started to implement the one-child policy, which means my mom only got 1 shot to make it right. And on the day I was born, my grandma was waiting anxious out of the hospital. But as soon as a beautiful baby girl's voice, my voice, burst the sky, she left the hospital. Of course, I was too young to know any of this. My mom told me as I was growing up. She also reassured me eventually because of my chubby cheeks and, you know, just cute laughters. I won my grandma over, but it left a mark on my heart. You know, I started to question myself at a very young age. Why do people prefer boys over girls? Is it because we are lesser than boys? Is it because we can't do the same thing? Or is it anything else? I was questioning that and trying to search for answer. But, you know, on the other hand, I just tried to, you know, simply prove to my grandma, even though I'm a girl, I can do anything that boys can do. You know, I get in fight just to show her that I could. I started to act very boyish, just trying to win her love. And as I grow up, it kind of shaped who I am. I become very competitive, and I wanted to, you know, compete with all of the male just because of this experience. But later, like I said, I started to be able to reconcile with myself, and I realized, yes, I was that poor little girl who was longing for my grandmother's love, but I overemphasized on it, and you know, time has now changed. A lot of girls in China, they actually don't receive the same, the same treatment that the way that I do. And actually, they were very fortunate that they were celebrated for. And women all over the world have made tremendous progress in terms of our women's rights. So I felt like we definitely made progress, and me also grow as a person to be very comfortable of who I am, understanding that I cannot change my gender and I can only improve myself to be a stronger person, to be someone who bring values to everybody, to be someone who are well liked, and to be helpful to other people. So I was very glad that I'm able to finally live as a person and not live by the gender label. And I wanted to use my personal story, hopefully, you know, to inspire a young woman or two around the world that, yes, we heard you. There are a lot of injustice out there. There's a lot of inequalities, but nothing can change who you are. As long as you know where you need to be going, have your goals in mind, you know, like Jessica talked about, and walk on it, and you will find your place. And alongside, there are people like us, and there are people like, you know, other wonderful men, both men and women. They will help you along the way, and you will find your place.
Thank you, Li Zhen. At some point, your grandma's gender bias make who you are today. So, yeah, Jessica, would you want to share a little bit about that?
Well, I have spoken quite a bit about my own my mom's experience and how she's encouraged me, and I want to be a role model for other women who are younger, who are on the path to become successful as well. So I would say, in addition to what I just shared earlier, I would say that you do want to, as Li Jian said, feel comfortable with yourself. I mean, you really cannot change yourself. You are who you are, and then be vigilant, be aware of the inequality in the society, because that's something that we continue to work on to improve, but it will not go away tomorrow. So it's always there. It really depends on how you handle it. So just be positive, and also remember that you're not alone. You're not the only woman in this industry or in this world. So there are a lot of us, and we just most women would want to extend their reach out to you to extend their help if needed. So align yourself with the right resources, women or men, and young or old. Build your support network. That's the key.
Thank you. So basically, embrace yourself, believe yourself, and you are so unique and you are great. Let's move on to next question. So Jessica, so I realize you are in insurance industry, but it's mostly for the business. I also believe a lot of corporates or even startups, they might have some questions in their minds. What kind of insurance do I need for my business? So what would you say to them might help them in the future?
Yeah, well, this is where my passion is. Thanks for asking the question. So I came to the US about 20 plus years ago, and I myself experienced the cultural shock in many things, including the view of insurance. In China, insurance is viewed as just maybe life insurance for most people. And but in the US, insurance is such an important tool, financial tool to help a company. I'm talking about business insurance now. So insurance is important tools for a company to transfer risks and protect your balance sheets and your assets. So if you keep that in mind, and also in the US, there are so many different kinds of insurance as regulations and situations evolve. For example, as more and more companies get attacked by hackers, cyber attacks. Cyber insurance continue to evolve to as a commercial insurance product. So it does provide some protection to insurance company to businesses, and then we also have reps and warranty insurance, for example, that helps companies, Chinese companies that acquire U.S. entities to protect you from any untrue warranties and representatives. So there are many kinds of insurance that could help you as a Chinese entrepreneur who ventures out to the US. And if you, I feel that it's a disadvantage if you did not know those tools, did not take advantage of those tools compared to your competitors, who are, if your competitors are American companies, they are very savvy in that area. So I would say you need to find a knowledgeable insurance professional like myself to help you understand these products. And also my passion is to get to know the company, and because I know these products, I can help you figure out what's needed now versus the future. And then we figure out the cost. And yeah, so I really think that insurance, just based on my own experience in helping with more than 100 Chinese investments in the US, that insurance has been really useful to most of them, just based on the claims I've seen. So yeah, I'd say find yourself a trustworthy professional to learn about insurance products first, and then decide what to do next.
So your service definitely can protect these business of their potential risks in the future, because you will never know what happened in the future, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I have a question for Li Jun. So I realize your company is involved in many different industries, such as agriculture, real estate, or even wine. So what will be your next business venture?
That's a great question. We're very flexible. We try to identify what are some of the needs, the gap where some of the Chinese company, when they come to the United States, or American company going to China, what are the gap? What can we provide? And so recently, there in the crypto space, there are some policy changes. So as a result, a lot of Chinese companies are looking to invest and to come to the United States to continue that business. So we get a lot of ask, and I'm very new. I literally know nothing about that industry at all, and I started to start the learning process and talking to those Chinese company, and quickly talk to our networks here and trying to find to see there's any fit, to do the matchmaking. So every day is a new day, and we will always get presented with a new opportunity. And that's one of the reasons that I'm excited to get out in the morning and work.
Thank you. Looking forward to your new business. So our last question, what advice do you have for the Chinese entrepreneurs who want to invest in the US? It's a question for both of you. So who wants to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. And I would say the business environment in the US is drastically different than China. So when you're looking into the opportunity in the US, you want to start your research. And I would say due diligence is the key. No matter whether you want to make a greenfield investment or acquire an existing business, due diligence is the key. I've seen so many clients having issues when they skip steps in the due diligence. Even if they did due diligence, maybe they didn't do as thorough of a job, then they, of course, would get an issue down the road. So there are many lessons in that area. And secondly, also surround yourself with professionals who do understand this environment, either in the legal field, in the accounting field, insurance field, bankers or investment bankers. There aren't too many of them, quality ones, but they are around, and I think there is a circle. So if you get to know one of them, they tend to introduce you to the others, trustworthy service providers, and then just keep your mind open to hear their advice, because in the US we do, as a service provider in the US, I do see my reputation as the most valuable asset. So I would not just give you a piece of wrong advice for any other reasons, because I would rather just give you my best professional opinion for to continue with my career. So that's the most important things I have, advice I have.
Thank you. So you want to say something else?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I think Jessica summed it up very, very well. The importance of doing due diligence, surround yourself with professionals who understand how to navigate this foreign and complex market, which is very different than what they used to and what they know. And then, once you come here and started to increment to kind of increment it to the local environment, I would say one of the things that I like to talk about the most is, as our president Ni Ping talked about at various occasions, try to be a local corporate citizen. And I think that's so crucial. And I have seen a lot of companies that are, built to last here in the United States. And, they are regarded as one of the locals, and they fit in really well. They respect the local environment and culture. They contribute. They're definitely one of the community members. And I think that's a great advice that I would give to anyone who comes here. First get your feet in the door, get used to it, learn, and then you want to contribute. And yeah.
So thank you. So no matter where you are, always respect the local rules. So I don't have a lot of time left, but thanks for all of this. And this time I want to open the floor to our audience, because I'm sure they must have plenty of questions for you to ask. If anybody wants to ask, please raise your hand. or you can type it in the chat section. Oh, I see one person, D. D Zhang has, anybody has questions? Well, you can raise your hand. Or otherwise you can type that in the chat section. Oh, sorry, I cannot see your raised hands. Okay, so it's almost time. If you have further questions, feel free to send us emails. Okay, it's time to, oh, one question. One question I think is for both of you two. How do you handle work-life balance?
Yeah, it's a really tough question. Before I have kids, I thought it's so easy to balance work-life balance. I didn't realize the work-life balance was, really how do you handle kid and their activity, their school, as well as what you want to do in terms of your career. Ever since I become a mom, I all of a sudden realized the value of work-life balance, and I understand why everybody kept on talking about it, because it's really, really hard. Imagining you have a whole day of meetings set up with very important client, and all of a sudden your daughter is sick that require medical attention, and and what can you do? You have to cancel everybody and then help your daughter. That's just one example that we as a female leader or female workers in the workspace that we have to deal with every single day. And then especially, Jessica mentioned about the pandemic last year. And yes, my daughter was homeschooled at school. And guess who was the one who was helping her navigate all the complexity of the homeschool? It's me again. And then outside of that, I still have to get all of my clients' meeting done and get everything finished, on top of all the additional obligation comes with family. I would say everybody has their own way of coping with stress. I found what's useful for me is really don't think about all of this is stress coming my way. I always view as, okay, how do I allocate my time between the time I get to enjoy with my daughter and the time I get to enjoy to help my client? I enjoy both of them. I just need to assess by a monthly and by the weekly and a yearly kind of goal, dissect it, and trying to figure out, okay, this is my daughter's activity, my husband's activity, and my work activity, and just try to be as well organized as possible. And also set your daughter's expectation or your husband's expectation, so everybody knows, okay, who's doing what and how much time they need to spend or take care of something while you are not available. And just, yeah, a little piece of advice from me.
So you are a simple woman, you can do everything at the same time. Jessica, you want to share some perspective?
Sure, yes. So I have two boys, 14 and 12. So when you have two kids, the amount of work is more than double, in my opinion, than when you have one child. But we've made it through, and my husband is an attorney, so we're both professionals. We worked hard to build a support network around us, either the family members or trusted health, or not health, trusted service providers, childcare providers. And but as the kids grow and they have different go through different growth stages, and you have to pay attention to different things. So I agree with Li Juan that keeping the work-life balance is really challenging, especially when your career moves or evolves quickly. And fortunately to me, I have a very supportive husband who has taken on quite a bit of care for our sons, and to allow me to focus more on the career. And I also think that I constantly have to remind myself to make a conscious effort to spend time with the family, to maybe build different virtuals, with each child or both children and my husband as well. Maybe we can plan a date once a week or once every other week, or we can, just do some fun things with the boys to keep building the family relationship. So yeah, it's not easy, but fortunately, as Lijuan said, women are good at multitasking.
Yeah.
Also,
not only mental and physical should get ready, you also need a supportive family member.
yes, yeah.
So we thank you. We don't have enough time left. Let's have Jilly back to introduce the upcoming events.
Okay, thank you, Anita. And I wanna say thank you for our two amazing, beautiful, and powerful female leaders. And thank you for sharing your encouraging and inspiring stories. We really enjoy them. And right now, Johnny, would you please play the slides for our, yes, thank you. Previous one, the manufacturing, yeah, this one, yeah, thank you. I would like to present our upcoming events, the future of global manufacturing virtual summit. So it's co-hosted by us, CGCC Chicago and the World Business Chicago. And we're gonna cover the 5 segments: the new normal in manufacturing, labor and employment, global manufacturing and supply chain management, climate change, and opportunities for manufacturing. We are also going to present the annual business survey report on Chinese enterprises in the United States in 2021. And so far, we have partners from other CGCC chapters, and also we have the US Heartland is one of our partners, and we have the sponsor, Highland, Jessica's company, and other more sponsors. We're going to, they're going to join us. So please join us and discuss about the global manufacturing. And I want to say thank you, and we look forward to seeing you at the Manufacturing Summit in September. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.